So in this segment, we're going to be talking about food scarcity fears prompt plans to ease post-Brexit checks on EU imports. So I remember seeing the one of the top dons at Tesco saying, "Oh, Brexit hasn't had that much of an impact, fam. It's because you're an importer. You import the food. You don't really export the food. So it's not a big surprise that Tesco's haven't taken a major hit from Brexit." I don't understand how some of these guys who can be so high up in companies can be so stupid and so ignorant. So, ministers are preparing to relax post-Brexit plans for border checks on food and other imports from the European Union because of fears they will further damage trade and could lead to severe shortages in UK supermarkets. The issue here is that you may fall foul of the World Trade Organization's most favorable nations thing, where if you relax imports for the EU on certain products, if we are also importing those same products from other countries or similar products, it's very confusing. We may get sued by WTO members. So that great savior WTO, let's go, as Brexiteers would say. That might be our doom. So the Observer has been told by multiple industry sources that Boris Johnson's new Brexit minister, Lord David the Iceman Frost, as I like to call him, is considering allowing a lighter touch controls on imports from the 1st of January than are currently planned. He's putting controls on ice because Britain's so efficient, we don't need those checks. Oh wait, we can't do them because we don't have the facilities to do them.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Yeah, because we don't, and the EU countries somehow do. Like, make that make sense, fam. We're so great that we can't do things that France can do. That's how great we are. So, scaling back plans for full custom checks, including physical inspections, which are due to begin on the 1st of July. One source said that he had been told that Lord David the Iceman Frost was preparing to put the plans, which could mean imports being allowed even if clerical errors have been made by European companies, before fellow cabinet ministers this week, as evidence grows of how Brexit has hit trade with the EU. So basically, we're just going to allow stuff in, even if there are mistakes. We're going to allow stuff in because if this causes problems in the supermarkets, people will see them and realise how bad Brexit is. That's why they've done this. A Downing Street source confirmed on Saturday night that Lord I've got to stop doing this, it's too long. Frosty has already ordered a review of the timetable to ensure that we are not imposing unnecessary burdens on business. That's what Brexit is, my friend. But added it was too early in the process and no decisions had been made. I mean, you've had over a year to figure this stuff out. What have you been doing all this time? Unelected bureaucrat, Mr. Frost. With UK exporters to the EU having been severely hit by new rules, regulations and costs of operating under post-Brexit regime, business organisations and senior figures in Whitehall now fear that EU exporters to the UK, particularly those involved in food, could be even less prepared than their UK counterparts were at the start of the year. So let's try and reread that again. Let's try and understand it properly. With UK exporters to the EU having been severely hit by the new rules, which were, typically in place for third nation countries or third party nations, or whatever the phrase is, that's us now. So these are not necessarily new rules in that sense. Costs. So UK exporters have been hit with these new rules, regulations and costs of operating under the post-Brexit regime. Business organisations and senior figures in Whitehall now fear that EU exporters to the UK, particularly those involved in food, could be less prepared than their UK counterparts. I hope that's not the case. That the EU companies, I hope, have got their act together and know what they're doing. But at the same time, even if they make errors, the food is still going to be allowed into the country. So by saying these two things, you're not really you're not really helping the situation, are you? It's like, oh yeah, these Spanish fish, the paperwork's wrong, let them through because we don't want to let people see the damage. Let them through. It's just ridiculous. A big worry is that delays resulting from checks could hit food supplies, including the just-in-time delivery network. That's something that's impacted EU countries like France, etc., the ones who import fresh fish. One senior industry figure said the worry is that if we go ahead with more checks and move to checks on imports, then exporters will not be prepared. And on this side, we are not ready for that either. There is not the infrastructure in place yet, or the number of customs officials necessary to carry out all this. I mean, what have you been doing for the past year? You said you needed 50,000 new customs agents. Where are they? What's going on? We have already seen exports badly affected. The next nightmare could be imports. I mean, anyone could have told you this. I could have told you this. Dano could have told you this. Yui could have told you this. Pretty much half the following I have on this channel could have told you this. Like, this is not rocket science. One senior industry figure. I could have told you this. When the Cabinet Office run by Michael Gove has attempted to downplay the effects of Brexit on UK trade, a survey last week by the Food and Drink Federation of its members that send goods to the EU found a 45% drop in exports since the 1st of January. Asked by the Observer on Friday if he was confident that plans, this is to Michael Gove, plans for more checks on imports from the EU could go ahead from April 1st and July 1st, the Chancellor, sorry, this is not to Michael Gove, this is to Rishi Sunak, said, "We are working through these things with the joint committee." This is the wrong guy to ask, though. He's not in charge of Brexit. He's the money guy. Surely you ask Gove or Frost. This is so stupid. We're working through, these things with the joint committees, and I think we are looking at everything, and if there are any problems, we are trying to address them. The systems and IT are all on track, but we are keeping everything under review to make sure it's as smooth as possible. I mean, he hasn't really told you much. He basically said, we're looking at things, if there are any problems, we're going to address them. The systems are coming online. But even though Gove said we won't have the proper border systems up until 2024. So, Rishi, what are you talking about? While a key claim of Brexiteers was always that Brexit would mean regaining control of our borders, doing so has proved hugely problematic since the UK has left the single market. I like this because it's true. We've got control of them, and we realise how difficult it is to control borders in the modern era. We're not in the drawbridge era anymore, friend. We're in the fast track business. In order to give businesses time to adapt, the government decided that imports into the UK from the EU could operate as normal until the 1st of April. From that day, under current plans, all items of animal origin such as meat, honey, milk or egg product, as well as regulated plants and plant products, will require full documentation where necessary, veterinary certificates to be sold in the UK from the 1st of July. All companies exporting to the UK will be required to fill out full customs declarations, and goods could be subjected to physical checks at the UK Customs Centre. So what does this stuff mean? What it means is a few different things. One, imports are going to be delayed because of all the customs checks, okay? 2, businesses may stop exporting to the UK because of the extra delays and costs. 3, because of the extra costs, the price on imported products will go up. And what that means is the consumer at the end of the day will have to pay more. That's why you have things like a single market, so that it saves consumers money in theory. It also makes businesses more money because they don't have to go through this, and they decide how the savings are made. Are they passed on to the consumer, or are they kept in profit? That's up to the business. But when prices go up, it's very rare that companies absorb the cost. What most likely happens is passed on to the consumer, which we will see this year. So Richard Burnett, the chief executive of the Road Haulage Association, said, "We are hearing from government that we are going to take a light touch approach to the next phase, or perhaps even an extension of the grace period. Although this is sensible to continue the uninterrupted flow of food products from the EU into Great Britain, I am concerned that it weakens the government's negotiating leverage when asking for similar easements from the EU for UK businesses attempting to trade with them." And the thing is, right, if in this case the UK tries to ask for concessions from the EU like we did last year, where we said, "Oh look, we're not doing checks on your products, why don't you do us the same favor?" and the EU are like, "No, I don't think I will, because we don't have to, because we have the checks, we have the facilities in place." And then the UK are like, "That's not very sportsmanlike, is it?" And so the EU aren't going to give us that kind of those grace periods. I mean, they don't want to get stung by the WTO, and why would they want to do us any favors? We're competing with them. They don't owe us anything. In a further sign of post-Brexit problems, Gove last week announced that grace periods to allow lighter enforcement of EU rules over supermarket goods, pharmaceuticals, chilled meats and parcels from Great Britain into Northern Ireland should be extended to 2023. And the further point to make of this is, I really forgot to mention, is that because of the UK ramping up tensions with the EU when it comes to Northern Ireland, why would the EU want to do us any favours here? We're punching them in the face essentially, and then asking them, "Oh, can you do a solid for us?" And the EU are going to sit there like, "No, why would we do that?" So we are causing problems with Northern Ireland, which should be covered in this article here. which will be a separate video for in a few days' time. Depends on scheduling. Frost writing in the Sunday Telegraph that sorry, have I missed something? Some of the current wave years are due to cease at the end of March, raising fears about further border disruption. This is to do with Northern Ireland, I believe. The issue of the new land border in the Irish Sea has caused renewed tensions in Northern Ireland, while also worsening poor relations with Brussels, which is considering legal action against the UK. Yeah, they're definitely going to do us a solid, Iceman. Frost, writing in the Daily Telegraph, has called on Brussels to shake off any remaining ill will towards the UK for leaving, and argued the government is acting legally to protect the everyday lives of people in Northern Ireland. Okay, and the EU are acting legally to protect the integrity of the single market and don't want to fall foul of WTO rules. We can do this, except from, in this case, the argument that if the EU made that argument, they would be correct, and if the UK made this argument that they're making, they'd be wrong. In a report accompanying last week's budget, the Office of Budget Responsibility, that's the OBR for short, repeated its view that the additional trade barriers caused by Brexit would reduce the UK's productivity in the long run by about 4%. On Saturday night, the Shadow Cabinet Office Minister, Rachel Reeves, who's someone I'm sick of, wrote to the OBR's chair, Richard Hughes, asking him to publish details of its assessment of the economic effects of the trade deal with the EU, including its effect on exports and different regions of the UK. The OBR's estimate of a 4% fall in productivity, Reeves told Hughes, this is extremely concerning. But, this is the deal Starmer voted to support, so, he's going to find it very difficult to kind of, criticise it, given that he supported this deal. He argues that, I voted for this deal because no deal was worse, but no deal wasn't on the table. So, but what do I know, huh? I'm just some kid, and he is, like 7 points down in the polls, so clearly he's the master here, and I'm just the student. Anyways, what we can tell from this is that this could cause us trouble with the WTO members. That's one of the reasons why you make sure you have the same rules for everyone when it comes to imports and exports, unless you have specific trade deals which state otherwise within the deals. And what this tells you is that the UK, despite all this time, despite saying we need 50,000 more customs agents, still does not know, still cannot do the basic checks that it has to do under the deal that we made with the EU. I guess the fact that we said that we would implement these checks, etc., on products coming into the UK, that we would control these borders, and yet we cannot control them because we don't know what's coming. Well, we're gonna ease the stuff coming in because we're scared of food shortages, which this is the right thing to do, but it does show you how bloviated the Brexit position was back in 2016, that it's going to come to this, that we have to give the EU special treatment because we cannot implement our own checks when it comes to products. The EU doesn't have to do this because they have multiple ports of entry and they have enough customs agents to deal with this. They've been preparing since 2016. We've been preparing since never, because we've never started really preparing for this. But this is not a surprise. People like Dano, Yui, any pretty much half the people in the comments who watch this video will know that if the government don't put a lighter touch on imports, it's going to cause import shortages, but it's going to cause problems, with WTO members. And it does show you how bloated the UK are and how much of a higher opinion we have of ourselves that we should not have. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. I just try and slow down a bit into the video of how fast I was talking. I know it's an issue. I am trying to work on it. But, that's enough from me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.